Hey everybody, how you doing today? I wanted to bring you out to my garden and just let you see an excellent haul that I received today. I've got 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 12 boxes. I took that jackfruit out of the pink box there, so 13 boxes of miscellaneous fruit that could not find a home today from our local church food distribution. And so I've got a huge task in front of me, burying all this food throughout the garden, around trees. I likely won't bury it all. I'll also probably throw, the majority of this is cucumber, and so I'll just throw those, break them up and throw them around trees as well. Put some in my liquid jatum, Korean natural farming, use some for compost and miscellaneous odds and ends. So this was all free. This was just the leftover food that nobody wanted from our local food bank for the local church here where I live, and so I picked it all up. But the main reason for this video that I wanted to show you was I got a really cool treat, and that is a jackfruit, and it was split open. And I've actually received these in the past, and these are super easy to propagate from seed. If you want to propagate a jackfruit, it's real easy to do. You can usually buy these from the Asian markets wherever you are locally. And when you open them up, this guy's already opened, the seeds are just right there. Right as soon as you open them up, you can pull out the seeds. They're really big seeds, and they root and propagate very easily. So I just wanted to show you how I go about propagating this plant. I've already got quite a few of these in my greenhouse. They are super tropical, so unless you live in the tropics, you'd never be able to put them in ground. But they do well in pots. I've got a few that are a few years old, and I'll show you one here. And they will fruit in the pot. It's just not going to be as large of a fruit, obviously, and the plant or tree will never get to, a mature size. These do get fairly large in the tropics in ground, but being a pot, it will dwarf itself, and the fruit will be dwarfed, which is perfectly fine. The fruit is very tasty. If you've ever had juicy fruit gum, the flavor of juicy fruit is derived from this particular fruit. So I'll bring you over to my plant station. I'm going to dig in a little bit because it does look like this has been cut apart here for a few days. And so I want to dig into it and get some seeds that are still fresh within the pulp itself, and just make sure, because tropical seeds, when you go to germinate and propagate tropical seeds, they have to be germinated right away. They do not have a long shelf life. And so the same holds true for the jackfruit. And so I'm going to dig into it, find a couple really good seeds. I'll bring you over to my plant station and I'll show you how I do it. Hang tight. Okay, welcome back, and here I am in my plant station. I've got the jackfruit here on the table. Just wanted to show you a closer look at it. If you've never seen a jackfruit up close, the inside, it's very fibrous, and it's got very large seeds in each one of these little nodes inside of the inside of it, if you can see. And it's just jam-packed full of seeds. There are so many seeds in here. I bet you there could be, 100 or better seeds in the full jackfruit of one this large. I went ahead and I pulled out 6 pretty deep into the pulp. And so they're all nice and slimy and fresh. So what I figured I'd do, I've got 3 little pots here, little quart pots that I'm going to put these in, or probably not even quarts, whatever they are, 2 pints. And I'm going to do 2 seeds per square pot, just to make sure, just in case these are, because it does seem just a little dry. It's not super dry, but I'm going to do 2 just to be safe on each one of these. And I've added just a little bit of biochar in with my sunshine mix, and so I'll be doing that. On the back side, you can tell this is jackfruit. It's pokey. It's not super pokey where it hurts, but they're definitely a little spiny on the back side. And this fruit is almost 1.5 feet, maybe a little bit larger, almost 2 feet maybe in size. So it's a really large fruit. So that is a jackfruit. And you can keep it in a pot, just, overwinter it, put it in a greenhouse. Mine do fine. We get down to lows of about 25 degrees here in Tucson, Arizona, zone 9A. And mine do fine. Here's one that's going on about 2 years old. I use sandbags quite a bit as well. They really work well for potters. They allow, nice airflow. They drain very readily throughout all the various pores. And as you can see, that trunk is, a really good diameter trunk. And just zooming up here, it's already branched out. And there she is in all her glory. And this is, it's maybe not quite 2 years, maybe about 1.5 years or so, give or take a little bit. And I'll get jackfruit from the food distribution periodically, not often, but I would say, maybe one every 2 or 3 months, give or take a little bit, sometimes more or less. And so I've got, this is probably one of my older ones. I may have 1 or 2 in there at this size, maybe a little bit larger. But this was just one that was handy and I grabbed. And I've got some that are smaller. Like I said, I've probably got a good dozen or so of them in there. And when I open up my nursery for sales in the spring or fall time, they're a pretty hot commodity. People like to have them just because they are tropical, and there's a fascination with tropical plants. And they're just unusual. You don't see them very often. You don't see them sold. Largely because you can't plant them in ground, but they do fine in the pots. And I've seen folks online that have got them to fruit being in pots, and you just put them in larger and larger pots, and so that's how you go about it. But anyways, back to the video at hand. So what I want to do, what you do with seeds, these are fairly large seeds, and just a general rule of thumb when planting seeds, you put them as deep as the seed is large. So these are, they're about 1/4 inch in diameter, or in width, and then a couple inches long, or 1 inch long. And so I'm just going to put them here, and I'm going to put as much soil as the seed is big, if that makes sense. And so the smaller the seed, the closer to the surface you want them. The larger the seed, the deeper that you would put them. So just FYI on that. And so I'll just fill it up here. And there's about a good, inch of room from where the seeds are to the top of the square pot here. So, and I'll just fill it right up here. And this soil is going to settle a little bit when I water it, with the air pockets being taken out. So what I may just do is leave these exposed, not put on my moringa mulch, and then once I water it and the soil settles a little bit, maybe I'll put some mulch on after, or just allow them to come up. They will germinate fairly quickly. Usually within a week or so, I'll start seeing the immersion of the plant, and they grow pretty quickly. So that's really all there is to it, folks. And so I'm gonna have it in my greenhouse. My greenhouse stays pretty warm. It's nice and humid right now. I do have a heat mat in there, so I may just set these on the heat mat and give them a little bit of heat just overnight, because we are, in the 40s overnight, give or take. And so I'll probably put them on a heat mat and give them a little bit of boost with that. But it's nice and humid in there, so there should be no reason why I won't get germination. So I will keep you posted. As soon as I see the plants sprout, I will go ahead and update you on these. If you have any questions, please ask below. I definitely appreciate you stopping by and watching the video today, and I hope you have a great day. God bless you. Take care.